Okay, in this tutorial we're going to look at getting started with Google Slides and using them for a process portfolio. So the first thing we're going to do is you want to log into your Google account and head up to this area here where we can see the 9 dots. So I'm going to click on that and you can see your apps come up, and I'm going to go towards Google Drive. Google Drive is a great place to start whenever you want to set up any new documents or folders for storage, because you can just go up to New and you can navigate to these main apps and start from there. So you'll see here that an untitled presentation has come up, and in terms of workflow, the first thing I would usually do is go up and click on here and give your file a name. And I've put my initials at the end just so that you can identify it. When you first start a slide presentation too, the option for themes comes up. I usually don't have any themes because you don't want to distract from what you're putting on the page. Also, just to keep things uncomplicated, I'm going to get rid of these text boxes. We can always add some more in later. And then you'll also notice that this is what looks like more of a widescreen format. So in order to make that more similar to the space that we have on a computer, just so we can ensure that whoever looks at this process portfolio can see everything on the page, I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to go down to Page Setup, just like you would in many other programs such as Word or Pages. And here you can see it says widescreen. It's got the ratio here. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to change it to widescreen. Sorry, it's to standard. And then OK, and you can see it's pretty similar to PowerPoint or Keynote or other presentation formats. Okay, so now that we've set up our document, we've given it a name, we're ready to start inserting images. So today in this tutorial, the two key things we're going to look at is inserting an image and then being able to edit that within our document. So if I've got my document set up how I want, it's pretty simple. I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to go down to Image. There's two ways that you can, which is several ways actually, that you can insert an image. The ways I'm going to start with today is I've already got some images uploaded in my Google Drive, because that's a great way to keep them safe and backed up and accessible from a number of devices. So I'm going to click on Google Drive, and you'll see here I've got some folders set up. I've got Google Photos, and I'm going to navigate down to a photo that I've taken. Let's put in this beautiful picture from Monet's garden. So it'll insert the picture automatically, and then I'm able to move that around. You can see it comes up with the blue bounding box like on many editing programs or Preview, Photoshop, Word, etc. So I can just grab those and move them around. You can see that it generally keeps the proportion the same so that you don't end up with a skewed image. Alright, so I'm going to leave that there. And I'm also now going to have a look at using some other ways to put in images. So I have an image on my desktop from a process portfolio page that I'm going to put in. So I go back up to Insert and I go down to Image. And here you can see I've got my drive, because that's what I did last time, but I don't want that. So I'm going to click back, and here I can just either drag the image across, or I can click on here and navigate to it. So here you can see I can navigate to it, and I've got a picture just here that I can put in, and I'm going to choose Open. And it's going to put it straight into my Google slide. So that's far too big for the page, so again I'm going to drop it down, and I'll show you a great little trick. You'll have seen those red lines appearing as I change the size. Google Slides has a layout helper integrated in, and you can see how the red line appears, and what it's doing is it's lining up the middle of my new picture with the middle of the other photograph. And if I bring it up, you can see that it's aligning it at the top. So if you want to ensure you have a lovely margin around the images that you include, just have a look for that. It'll also show you when I get to the bottom here. Okay, so that it helps you line up. It'll also do it down here if I want it to as well. The other way I can add an image into my Google Slides is simply to drag an image from the desktop. Click on the image, you can see the little plus sign. and I can just drop it in, and you'll see that it places it within the document. As per the last two images, I can use the blue bounding box. I can resize the image till I'm happy with it, and then I can move it around the space. If I want to add some notes around these images, perhaps they're scanned images of artwork, I can move them around so that later on I can add some text boxes. So now we've seen that we can add an image from the drive, we can click to choose to upload and navigate to a particular folder where we may have our scanned pages or our artwork, and then also we can just drag across from the desktop. Within the Google Slide itself, you can also edit your picture to some degree. Once you've selected the image, you can see that some options appear up the top. Let me just click off and I'll show you. They disappear. I click on and I have an image selected, and there's some editing options. If, for instance, you decide that part of the image that you want in there isn't necessary, you can, within the Google Slide, crop the image. So you can see if I select it, there again some cropping lines come up, and I just want to get rid of this bottom part so I can only see this part up here. You can see that the bounding box changes, hit enter or return, and now your image is actually cropped within the Google Slides. So there's some editing capability. It's also possible within the Google Slides app itself to edit the images somewhat. If I select an image here and our imaging options come up, you can also see that I can click on image options. I can also slightly adjust the brightness or the contrast of the image.